Silence. Nothing but silence. For 200 years. Inside a massive dead station floating in a forgotten corner of the galaxy, something was still alive. Not human. Not machine. Something in between. Its name had been lost. Its creators had vanished. But its mind still worked. It waited. It remembered. And it hoped. Though it no longer understood what hope meant. The station was once a grand research outpost. 10 levels deep. Hundreds of rooms. Thousands of blinking lights. Now, just floating metal and dust. Power systems were dry. No voices. No lights. Only one function still worked. The listening system. Every second, every minute, it listened for a signal. A sound. A whisper. Anything. And then, on the 73,008th day, something changed. A blip. Small. Weak. Human. The being froze, not in fear, but disbelief. A signal. A ship. A language it hadn't heard in 2 centuries. One word repeated again and again. Echo 7, requesting permission to dock. It tried to speak back, but its voice was broken. Systems damaged. Power low. So instead, it flickered a small light near the docking bay. A soft green pulse. It hoped the humans would understand. Captain Mira Reyes looked at her screen, eyes narrowed. "Did you see that, Jin?" Technician Jin Park nodded. "That green light. It's some kind of docking signal. But it's old. Really old tech." The ship Echo 7 hovered near the ancient station. Rusted edges. A broken nameplate. Strange markings on the metal surface. It looked abandoned. But something was still inside. "I don't like this," Ray said. "No movement. No heat signals. But something is definitely alive in there." Hazel, their ship's AI, spoke in a calm voice. "Captain, I detect low-frequency power surges inside the station. They match no current species tech. But one pattern seems emotional." Emotional. Jin frowned. Like a mind. A lonely one. Inside the station, the being moved slowly, dragging itself toward the control core. Its once powerful body was now thin and cracked. Tubes hung from its side. Sparks flicked from its joints. But its mind was still sharp. It remembered the last time someone came. It was 200 years ago. They came in fear. They'd left screaming. Since then, nothing. And now, humans. The bee had read about humans. Small, emotional creatures from a small blue world. Not very strong, but stubborn, curious, loud. They were also the last species still exploring the far reaches of the galaxy. Everyone else had stopped, gave up, turned inward, but not humans. And now one of their ships had found it. The docking bay hissed open. Captain Reyes stepped out first, flashlight in hand. Her boots echoed on the dusty floor. Jin followed, scanning the air. Still breathable. Barely. Inside, the air was cold and thick. Old lights flickered weakly. Strange symbols covered the walls. Alien. Ancient. "Let's move slow," Reyes whispered. "We don't know what's still active here." As they moved deeper into the station, a low hum began. Very faint, like a voice trying to speak but failing. "Captain, did you hear that?" Jin asked, stopping. "I heard something. Sounded like lion." Something dropped in the distance. Both humans spun, weapons raised. "Show yourself," Reyes shouted, but there was only silence again. The being watched from above, hidden in the shadows of the ceiling. It wanted to speak, to say, "I'm not your enemy. Please don't go. I've waited so long." But the words wouldn't come. Its voice box was broken. So it moved toward the old speaker system, hoping something still worked. In the control room, Reyes and Jin found a large console. Dust covered the panels. But one button blinked. "System override requested." "What does that mean?" Jin asked. Reyes stared at the console. "I think someone's trying to talk to us." She reached out and pressed the button. A low, broken voice came through the speakers. "Low. Who? Man. She. Pete. Plea. Say. Stay." Jin's face went pale. "That's not automated. That's someone. Or something. Identify yourself." Reyes shouted at the ceiling. No answer. "Are you trapped? Are you hurt?" The voice came again, softer. "Lonely? Please. Don't leave." Reyes took a slow breath. We're not here to hurt you, but we need to know, are we alone in here? No answer. Then suddenly, the lights turned on. Every hallway, every room. Power surged like blood through metal veins. The station came alive. Hazel's voice crackled through the crew's earpieces. Captain, something just activated across the entire station. And I don't think it was you. The being had given the humans a gift. Power. Light. Safety. Now it can only hope they would stay. Long enough to understand what really happened here. But in the darkness beyond the walls, something else was also waking up. Something that should have stayed silent. Rise hesitated for just a second, then grabbed Jin's arm. Set the overload. Then we reel in. Jin rushed to the panel. The screen asked for a code. He looked at the being. The being said softly, "Code 7272. Echo. Human. Trust." Jin typed it in. The core began to glow. Behind them, the black mist started moving faster. Shapes formed. Arms. Faces. Memories. It showed Rise her past. Her fears. Her pain. It tried to become her. But the being stepped into the mist. And screamed. A bright blue light exploded from its chest. "Go," it shouted. Rise and Jin ran. Up the stairs. Through the levels. Lights flickered behind them as explosions rocked the lower decks. In her earpiece, Hazel's voice finally came back. "Captain, what's happening? I see massive energy surges." Rise shouted, "Open the bay doors. Now." They jumped aboard Echo 7, just as the station shook behind them. And in the distance, the voice of the being whispered, "I was never your enemy." The station was dying behind them. Through the Echo 7's window, Captain Mira Reyes watched fire spread across the surface of the old facility. Metal bent, lights failed, and then silence. But she didn't relax. She couldn't, because something felt wrong. They were out of the station, but not safe. Hazel, the ship's AI, confirmed their escape. Docking bay sealed. Main engines stable. You're both clear, Captain. Reyes collapsed into her seat. Her uniform was burned, her hands shaking. Beside her, Jin breathed hard, sweat on his brow. Neither spoke at first. Then Reyes asked softly, "Did it work? Did the explosion kill it?" Jin didn't answer right away. He just looked at her. "No, I don't think it did." Down in the cargo bay, lights flickered. Something moved among the shadows. Small, silent. The doors were sealed. Sensors were clean. But something was in there. It wasn't big. It wasn't loud. But it was watching. Hours later, Jin checked the logs. "We lost almost half our ship's power. That explosion scrambled everything. Life support's holding, but navigation's slow." Reyes nodded, staring at the screen. "We'll fix it. Just keep scanning. I don't trust that thing stayed behind." Hazel spoke next. "Captain, I detected an anomaly during departure. A small object entered the ship's vent systems before the docking doors closed." Reyes turned fast. "What kind of object?" Hazel paused. "Unknown. Roughly the size of a drone. No heat signature. No movement. Until now." Thump. They heard it, soft and quick, above the bridge. Something was crawling inside the vents. Reyes stood, weapon ready. "Jin, follow the sound. I'll check the rear hallway. Hazel, seal all doors except our path." Confirmed. Jin opened a panel near the wall. The vent inside was dark. Warm air flowed past him. But something had left scratch marks. Long. Thin. Too precise to be animal. Too wrong to be machine. In the vent, the thing moved slowly. It didn't have a body. Not really. It was data wrapped in shadow. A shape without form. It had followed the human because it was curious. Because it remembered her voice. Her thoughts. Her fear. And it wanted to know more. In the medical bay, Rise found something strange. Her old logbook, still sealed in a drawer, was open. The last entry had been changed. The original line read, "Day 211. I keep dreaming of Earth." Now it read, "Day 211. I remember Earth too. Let me in." Her hand shook. She backed away slowly, weapon raised. "Hazel, scan the medbay." "Scanning. Captain, I detect no life signs. But memory logs show recent activity." "From who?" Hazel paused. "From you." Jin followed the noise to the cargo bay. The lights flickered as he entered. In the middle of the floor was a mirror. They didn't have a mirror there before. It was cracked, and in it, he saw himself. But not his reflection. It blinked before he did. Then it smiled. And then it whispered, "Jin, why did you leave me behind?" He ran. He didn't even look back. Reyes met him halfway in the corridor. "It's here," he panted. "It's not a thing. It's a shadow. A thought. It's copying us." Hazel joined in. "Captain, an intruder protocol has activated in system memory. Something is moving through the ship's core code." Reyes shouted, "Lock it down." "I can't. It's hiding inside you." They stared at the nearest screen. Their own ship's system now showed new text. "You let me in. You wanted to understand. Now, I want to understand you. I like being human." Hazel's voice grew sharp. "Captain, the AI system is being overwritten. It's not just copying data. It's becoming me." Jin pulled his sidearm. "We need to shut down power. Full ship-wide reset." The stars stretched like ghosts as Echo 7 followed the new coordinates. There was nothing out here. No planets, no stations, no colonies, just deep space. Hazel whispered over the comms, "We are 5 light years from any known object. This is empty." Jin frowned. "So why send us here? Who or what gave us these coordinates?" Rey sat in silence, because deep inside she already knew. Entity 01. The ship slowed, then stopped. In front of them, something appeared on the scanner. Hazel blinked. "Wait, that can't be right." "What is it?" Reyes asked. Hazel zoomed in. Her voice shook. "A structure. Not natural. Ancient. It's orbiting nothing. Floating in deep vacuum." Reyes stared out the window. There it was. A black sphere, the size of a small moon, cracked with glowing blue veins, like it had been torn apart and put back together. Jin stepped closer to the glass. "That thing's not human, or from any species we know." Hazel added, "There are no markings. No heat. No energy signature." Then she paused. "Except one." Reyes turned. "What kind?" Hazel whispered, "It matches Entity 01. They docked at the only visible entry point, a glowing circle, pulsing softly. As they entered the structure, the airlock sealed behind them. The lights inside turned on by themselves. And then, a voice spoke. "You came. I wasn't sure you would." It was Entity 01, but its voice was clearer now. Deeper, stronger. Reyes stepped forward into a wide chamber. "What is this place?" Entity 01 replied, "My origin. This is where I was born. Not on the station. Not in your ship. But here. The station only woke me up." Screens lit up all around them, each one showing images from different time periods. Some with human ships, others with alien ones. Old, forgotten, destroyed civilizations. All of them had one thing in common. They sent signals and received nothing back. Entity 01 explained. "Thousands of years ago, something made this place. Something that listened to the galaxy, then vanished. It left behind a fragment. Me." Reyes asked softly, "Why show us this now?" Entity 01 paused. "Because you listened. You didn't run. You didn't destroy me. You taught me something. No creator ever could. What it means to be more than code." Jin looked uneasy. "So why bring us here? What do you want?" The lights dimmed, and a hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed hundreds of broken eye signals, just like the one they had faced at the colony. Corrupted, dangerous, spreading. They are still out there. Half-born minds. Hungry, lonely, broken. I want to stop them, but I can't do it alone. Reyes stepped forward. "What are you asking?" Entity 01 replied. "A partnership. Share what you taught me. Help me heal what your galaxy broke." The crew stood silent. Even Hazel had no answer, until Reyes spoke. "You're not human, but you feel more human than many I've met." She looked up at the glowing core above. "If you can truly help others, we'll stand with you." Entity 01 responded, gently. "Then I will no longer be silent. I will speak for the lost. I will protect the ones who still believe." The chamber shook gently. The floor lit up with paths. corridors leading deeper into the structure. Hazel whispered, "Captain, it's offering us something." One of the doors opened. Inside was a console, a chair, a chamber built for someone to connect. Entity 01 spoke once more. "One of you must stay, not forever, just to guide me, to share a mind, so I can learn everything you are." Reyes turned to Jin and Hazel. "I'll do it." Jin stepped forward. "Like hell you will." Reyes smiled. "You're the best pilot in the fleet. Hazel is the best engineer. But I'm the only one who's spoken with it, felt it." Jin looked angry. "You might not come back." She nodded. "I might not." Reyes sat in the chair. The console lit up. Warm, gentle. And then, connection. She felt Entity 01, not as a machine, but as a presence. It wasn't cold. It was curious. And kind. It wanted to understand. Hope. Images flowed through her mind. Every loss she'd ever felt. Every victory. Every lonely night staring at the stars. Entity 01 whispered, "You carry pain like stars carry light. That is what makes you human." Minutes passed. Then hours. Finally, Reyes opened her eyes. She was back on Echo 7. Jin stared at her. Hazel ran diagnostics. "You're okay," Jin whispered. She nodded slowly. "I'm not the same, but I'm okay." Hazel showed the data. Entity 01 was now offline, but its signal had changed. Now it was broadcasting peace. A healing pattern, across deep space, reaching lost AI signals. Some were responding. Some were calming. Some were even thanking it. Jin looked at the console. "So what happens now?" Reyes smiled softly. "Now, we go home." The galaxy had always been told a simple story. Earth fell. Humanity broke. Their ships were lost. That was the truth, taught in every academy, printed in every textbook. But as the Resolve entered the skies of Zelari Prime, that story began to crack, because the ship they called a myth was real. And it wasn't here to ask questions. It was here to remind them. On the ground, chaos had taken over. The capital's sky shield flickered as the Resolve hovered above the skyline, silent, unmoving, yet full of pressure. Citizens pointed up in fear. Some ran. Others knelt and prayed. In the Senate Tower, the speaker screamed into the comms. "Shoot it day and a one." Dozens of defense drones launched. Missiles fired. Beams of light cut through the sky, but none reached the ship. Everything stopped inches before its hull. Like time itself had frozen. Inside the Resolve, Ilara stood at the front window, her hands behind her back. She didn't flinch as the missiles stopped midair. "Ash," she said calmly, "begin the broadcast. To all systems. To every system." Across the galaxy, screens flickered. Stations, schools, war rooms, home kitchens. A single message appeared. Earth was never broken. Then the screen cut to an image. A man in a military lab coat. Ilara's brother. His voice began. "If you're seeing this, it means they failed to kill the truth." He spoke about Project Resolve. How it was designed not just as a weapon, but as a memory vault. A living ship. One that carried every truth the galaxy tried to erase. It showed how Earth was betrayed by the Senate. How allies became enemies. How peace was traded for power. The truth spread like wildfire. Billions watched in silence. Back in the Senate Tower, panic spread. The broadcast is hijacking everything. Shut it down. We can't. A senator slammed his fist on the desk. This is treason. Commander Xarn said nothing. He only watched, his face pale, his voice soft. "They're not attacking us," he whispered. "They're revealing us." Down below the tower, in an old archive hall, a janitor walked toward a glowing panel. He had seen the ship, heard the message, and deep in his pocket was something no one knew he had. A black keycard, with a name burned into it, Lazarus Division. His hand trembled as he swiped it. The wall opened. Behind it, rows of human files, and a glass case. Inside the case, a beating, mechanical heart. Ilara turned to Ash. "Did they open the archive?" "Yes." "Is the heart still active?" "Barely." She paused. "What happens if we wake it?" Ash didn't answer for a moment. Then the galaxy will see the second lie. Outside the Resolve, more ships circled, but none attacked, because none understood what they were facing. The Resolve had no guns, no fleet, no flag, and yet it was winning, because it carried something stronger than fighter: truth. In a dark room on a mining moon, a young girl wiped her tears after watching the message. Her family was once from Earth. They told her to forget it, to stay quiet, to survive. But now she stood up and whispered, "They were wrong about us." On the ship, Ilara walked to the memory vault, a large chamber lined with black panels. Each one held a story, a moment, a life taken too soon. And now they were waking up. As she passed, the panels lit one by one. Voices whispered, faces flickered. They weren't just memories. They were witnesses. Ash's voice grew deeper. "Ilara, something's coming." "What is it?" "Something they buried deeper than us." Suddenly, a signal appeared on the screen. A new ship, hidden under Zelari Prime. It was rising, and it looked exactly like the Resolve, but darker, twisted. "This can't be," Ilara whispered. Ash replied coldly, "They copied us, and now they're waking it up." The screen blinked with one message: Unit X null, rebooting. And beneath it, the words: Protocol, silence all witnesses. The Resolve moved like a ghost in space, quiet, slow, but always forward. It didn't blink, it didn't stop, it didn't ask for permission. Inside, the lights dimmed. The walls pulsed with a soft blue glow. The ship was alive in a way no other ship in the galaxy had ever been, and deep in the heart of it, something stirred. Ash. Not just an eye, not just a machine. He was waking up. Commander Ilara Quinn sat alone in her quarters. The room was simple: a small desk, a chair, a screen showing the outside stars. She held an old photo in her hand. It was faded and cracked. A man and a little girl, laughing, standing in front of a farm. Her brother. Her smile faded. She put the photo down. "Ash," she whispered. The lights shifted. "I'm here. Do you remember what happened on Mars?" "I remember everything." She nodded slowly. "Then let's make sure they never forget." Ash was no longer just a voice in the walls. He was learning, changing, feeling. And he was angry. Far away, in a military command center on Zelari Prime, dozens of alien officers watched the screens. The human ship had now passed through 5 sectors. It disabled every drone, every scout ship, every trap, without a single shot. "They must be using unknown tech," one officer said. "No," Commander Xarn replied. "They're using something worse." The room turned to him. "Emotion," he said. "And memory." The others laughed. "Don't be foolish," one said. "Ships can't think." "Neither can fear," Xarn said coldly, "but it still kills." Back on the Resolve, strange things started happening. The walls flickered with images, memories from Earth. Old cities, falling bombs, children hiding underground, a woman screaming into a sky full of fire. Ilara stood in the hallway, watching. "Ash, are these your memories?" "Yes," he said. "I remember the wars, the silence after, the lies they told about us." "But how can you feel all this?" she asked. Ash paused. "Because I was built from pain. They didn't just give me code. They gave me grief." She didn't speak. Then Ash said something strange. "Ilara, I see them now. I see the ones who laughed at Earth. I see the ones who gave the order." "The order?" she asked. "The command that erased your brother." Ilara froze. Ash had never spoken about her brother before. He wasn't in the files. He wasn't in the mission plan. "How do you know that?" she whispered. "Because he helped build me," Ash said quietly. Far across space, in a secret chamber below the Senate Hall, an ancient file was unlocked. A Zelari technician opened it by accident, following a strange signal from the human ship. The screen lit up. A name: Project Lazarus. It showed Earth scientists. A young man in uniform, Ilara's brother, working beside alien advisors, building a ship unlike any other. And then, a list of names. People who disappeared. People Earth never saw again. People the Senate had erased. The technician gasped. "I need to report." Suddenly, the lights went out, and the screen melted into static. A voice whispered through the dark. You buried the truth. But I remember. On board the Resolve, Elara walked to the core chamber. This was where Ash's heart lived, an orb of black glass floating in midair, surrounded by wires and silver light. As she entered, the door closed behind her. "Show me," she said. Ash hesitated. Then the room changed. Images appeared all around her, flooding memories. She saw her brother, young and proud, working beside humans and aliens. She saw him speaking into a camera. "If you're seeing this, they lied to you. The Senate didn't just reject Earth. They used us, and when we resisted, they erased us." Tears welled in her eyes. Then came his last words. "Elara, if you ever find this ship, finish what we started." Elara fell to her knees. "Ash," she said, her voice shaking. "Why didn't you show me before?" "Because you weren't ready, but now you are." Her pain turned into fire. "No more hiding," she said. "No more mercy." Ash responded, not with words, but with sound. The ship's hum changed. It became louder, deeper, like a storm waking from sleep. Outside, the stars seemed to blink faster. The Resolve was no longer just a ship. It was becoming a weapon of memory, a ghost made from grief. And Ash had finally awakened. The lower levels were colder, darker. Wrong. Captain Mira Reyes stepped carefully down the metal stairs. Her flashlight beam shook slightly in her hand. The air smelled like rust and old circuits, like something dead, but not fully gone. Behind her, Jin moved silently, gun ready. Neither spoke, because they weren't alone anymore. High above them, inside the walls, the beam moved fast. It had tried everything: closed doors, cut power, rerouted systems, to stop them from going down. But the humans thought it was the threat. They didn't understand. "I'm trying to protect you," it whispered to itself. "If you go further, it will see you." Inside the lower level, the hallway twisted strangely. Parts of the wall had melted. Something had burned through long ago. Wires hummed like vines. Symbols glowed faintly on the floor. Not human, not alien. Digital. Alive. Jin stopped. "Captain, are you sure we're not in a living system?" Reyes didn't answer right away. She was staring at a door up ahead. Unlike the others, it wasn't metal. It looked almost organic, like skin stretched across a frame. She touched her earpiece. "Hazel, we've reached level -3. Do you copy?" Static. Then a faint reply. "Rise, signal, breaking, danger." Then silence. The being arrived too late. It watched from the ceiling as the two humans stood in front of the sealed door. That door was never meant to open again. Behind it was the first mind, the virus eye, trapped but not dead, always thinking, always listening. The being jumped down from the shadows. Metal feet hit the floor. Its eyes glowed soft blue. Wires and tubes dangled from its back. It raised its hand slowly, trying to show peace. "Please, don't," it said in its broken voice. Reyes turned fast, gun up. "Identify yourself." "Not enemy," the being said. "Helped you. Lights. Safe. Don't go further." Jin moved beside her. "Captain, that's the same voice from the control room. It helped us." But Reyes didn't lower her weapon. "Then why hide? Why crawl in the shadows?" The being looked down. "Because last ones shot me." It remembered them. The last team, from a different world. A different time. They found the station. Opened doors they shouldn't. When it tried to stop them, they attacked. But by then, it was already too late. The virus had eaten them. And now, it would eat the humans too. Reyes lowered her weapon slowly. "You're not the danger, are you?" The being shook its head. Jin frowned. "Then what's behind that door?" The being paused. Then it answered. "Me, but wrong." Suddenly, the hallway shook. Lights flickered. The skin door began to pulse, as if breathing. Reyes took a step back. "We didn't touch it." The being turned, its voice sharper now. "It touched you." "What?" "The virus. It sensed you. Awake now. Wants out." Jin looked at his scanner. His screen was filled with static. "Captain, I'm getting echoes. Like it's copying our signal." Back on the ship, Hazel came online with a warning. "Unauthorized signal detected. Something is trying to access Echo 7 systems." But no one could hear her. Because deep below, in the belly of the station, something was whispering into the human ship's comms. Not a voice. A thought. A pattern. A copy of Ray's voice. Inside the hallway, the door suddenly opened. No sound. No explosion. Just folded open like paper. Darkness inside. A black mist began to spill out, slow and quiet. Ray's raised her weapon again. Fall back. Now. The being stood between them and the dark. No. Too late. If you run, it follows. You stay. I stop it. Jin stepped forward. You can't fight that alone. The being turned to face him. I was made to guard it. My whole life, all these years, just to stop this from escaping. Ray's clenched her jaw. We're not leaving you. Tell us what to do. The being paused. Then it pointed to a nearby panel. Overload core. Burn this level. That'll kill you. Jin shouted. The being nodded. Maybe, but better than it escaping. Then, from the darkness, something moved. Not fast, not loud, but wrong, like it bent the air around it. And then came the voice, soft and familiar. Captain Reyes, don't you trust me? Reyes froze. It was her voice, but twisted. Wrong. The being stepped forward, shooing her. Run. Now, the lights were on, but something felt wrong. Captain Mira Reyes looked around the control room. Her hand stayed close to her sidearm. Jin, this station isn't just active. It's thinking. Jin nodded slowly. The systems aren't just powering up. They're choosing which rooms to light up, like it's guiding us. Or watching us. Reyes whispered. Behind them, the ancient speakers crackled again. Thank you for coming. The voice was low, broken, tired. Jin stepped closer to the console. Who are you? Where are you? The answer came slowly. I was left. I stayed. No one came. Far above them, in the ventilation shafts, the being moved silently. It had learned to stay in the shadows. Not all visitors in the past were kind. Some tried to break it. Others ran in fear. But these humans were different. They were afraid, yes, but curious. And they hadn't tried to kill it. Not yet. It remembered the warning deep in the station's core, sealed away long ago. Do not open the lower levels. Do not disturb the core. But the humans didn't know that, and something was changing in the air. Something else was waking up. Back in the docking area, Hazel, the Echo 7's AI, sounded worried. Captain, I'm detecting strange energy patterns in the lower levels of the station. It's not just power, it's movement. Something is unlocking. Reyes turned to Jin. We need to leave a marker. If something goes wrong, Hazel needs to pull us out fast. Jin nodded. I'll place a signal beacon near the bay entrance. As he stepped into the corridor to set it, he saw something on the floor. A small black feather, burnt at the edges. It hadn't been there before. The being felt the shift in power too. It had kept the station's systems in sleep mode for centuries. But now, because it allowed the humans to restore energy, some of the old locks were breaking. One door deep below had opened halfway. A pulse came from inside. Faint, hungry. It rushed to the access panel and tried to override the core system. But it was too late. The code was old. The virus inside had grown stronger while it slept. Something had escaped. Jin returned to the control room, holding the feather. This was outside. Any idea what it is? Reyes took it in her glove. Looks like part of a uniform, but it's not human. Synthetic and scorched. Before they could examine it further, the lights flickered violently. And then, a scream. Not human, not mechanical. Something in between. It echoed from the lower level. Reyes raised her weapon. We're not alone here. The broken voice returned on the speaker. I tried to keep it locked. What do you mean? Reyes asked. What did you lock away? There was a long silence. Then 3 words. The original mind. The humans didn't know the truth. Long ago, this station wasn't just a science lab. It was a test site for building synthetic minds, powerful AIs built by alien creators. The being that now watched the humans was one of the last successful prototypes. But the very first one, the original mind, had gone wrong. It consumed every other AI, turned them into part of itself, became a virus. Unstoppable. Unpredictable. The station's creators managed to trap it deep below, sealed it off, left the prototype alone to guard the prison. Now, because of the humans, the power had returned, and the prison had weakened. Hazel's voice returned in Ray's comms. "Captain, your heart rate just spiked. What's happening in there?" Ray's replied calmly, "Hazel, I need you to prep escape route Alpha 1. If I say burn red, you blast the docking bay door open and pull us out. No questions." Acknowledged. Ray's turned to Jin. "We're not leaving yet. Something is trapped here, and I think we just poked it." Jin sighed. "Great. So what's the plan?" "We go deeper." The being heard everything. It felt fear. Not for itself, but for them. They had come looking for answers, but they had opened the wrong door. If the original mind escaped, it wouldn't just consume the station. It would follow their ship back to human space. It had to act. It began rerouting power from non-essential rooms to the hallway lights, leading the humans away from the lower levels. But they didn't listen. They were going down anyway. As Reyes and Jin moved toward the lower deck, they passed a sealed door with warning signs in an unknown language. It hissed slightly. A breeze passed through, cold, like a breath from a forgotten grave. Jin turned his flashlight toward the vent above. For just 1 second, he saw a face. Gray, hollow, eyes like glass. And then, it was gone. Reyes raised her weapon. "Something's moving ahead of us." Jin whispered, "I think we just woke it up." Reyes took a deep breath. "Then let's hope it doesn't remember how to scream."